Rapamycin, and I'm talking about it only in micro doses in a skincare cream. I am not talking about trying to take it as a black market supplement like Brian Johnson, who's one of the leading influencers with longevity, or some of the science researchers that are taking this on the sly themselves because of what they're doing with their experiments in their labs in Harvard and Stanford. I am not talking about that.
Hi, welcome to the Judy Terrell Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Your Second 50, where I take health science and turn it into practical, personal, and powerful information for you to apply in your everyday life patterns for you to age optimally. Welcome everybody, I'm Judy Terrell, and today we're going to talk about something big, skincare as we age. All right, so you have probably heard about Tretinoin, and you might have heard some whisperings about estrogen in skin creams now for postmenopausal females. And you may, if you're really, really informed, have been picking up on some whisperings about rapamycin and its use in skincare products. Well, we're going to talk about all three today and how they may be applied to you and how you might apply them to your everyday skincare regime. But before I get into those, let me talk to you about lifestyle patterns that are so important for skin that come from the inside out. And we're going to supplement with outside in with skin creams, and I'll talk about that in a second. So lifestyle practices that are so important and necessary for, healthy skin and slowing down that aging process of skin are several. So the first one, and one of the biggest ones for women and men of all ages, is, avoiding sun exposure. So I'm not saying stay out of the sun unless you've got a medical reason for doing so, but you really want to use sunscreen as much as possible, even in your 20s, 30s, and beyond. You want to try to avoid exposure to the sun during the height of its highest intensity rays between 11 and 1 p.m. every day. So sun exposure is one of the things that's really linked to one of the fastest ways for our skin to age and to do DNA damage. All right, so sun exposure. Number two, what you're putting in your mouth, of course, right? So, my Cliff Note version of this is eat whole foods as much as possible. And here's my little extra hack is like when it comes to the fruits and vegetables, and you want to be choosing the deepest, darkest versions of the colors naturally. So like we all know about the purple, really dark purple in the dark berries, eggplant, dark cabbage, purple cabbage. Very, very high in antioxidants, but also really deep oranges like sweet potatoes and, the winter squashes, really deep greens like kale and spinach and collard greens. The darker the natural color, the higher the consolidation, the antioxidants and the nutrition in that plant source. So you really want to be paying attention to those deep dark colors and mixing them into your everyday eating plan, not just for general health all over, but in terms of your skincare, because those are the raw products that your skin is using as it's turning over and regenerating every single minute of our lives. All right, so those two, and then the third one, which is uber important, and that is sleep. This is one where I struggle with myself because I just, my whole life has been a corruption of sleep, not getting enough of it, not getting enough of the deep stage of sleep. But now as I'm getting older, I can notice a difference because human growth hormone is secreted and utilized in the deep stage of sleep. So, as we age, it becomes even that much more important that we're getting high quality of sleep as well as the, recommended amount of 7 to 9 hours. So that sleep for skin rejuvenation, very, very important. And then the final, from a lifestyle perspective of my highlighted ones, is hydration. Again, using myself as an example, at 62 years old, I'm still competing athlete in Ironman competitions. And I can tell you that when I do a 3-hour or longer training, when I'm done and I look in the mirror, even though I'm hydrating, I look like a prune. Like I can see the wrinkles are exacerbated, they're highlighted. It's incredible, honestly. And it's because I've dehydrated, right? And of course, I'm going to rehydrate after the fact, but that's my hack to you is most of the people I work with think they're hydrating enough. But, I'm going to say the winter months with the dry heat, the summer with the sweat, we're all can use a little bit of extra hydration, generally speaking. So, whatever amount you're taking in, if you feel like you have dry skin that feels like it's wrinkling, and you can see it more as you're aging, it would become even that much more important. Maybe up whatever the amount you're doing by 10 or 20 ounces per day to try and get that little bit more hydration for your skin. All right, those are my lifestyle, hacks. But now let's go into skin cream, because your skin care, the creams that we're using on our body are part of everyday lifestyle and habit patterns and life as medicine, right? So let's talk about this. Now, I'm not against going to spas and, medical spas to get the high-end treatments, but, most of us, the best we're going to do is once a week for that, maybe once a month, once every several months. But what we do with our skincare products, we're doing on a daily basis, and that's why I'm talking about them in this video. All right, so 3 main, elements that are in skincare products that are rising to the surface in terms of having, evidence-based, positive effects. The first one is tretinoin, and that is basically a retinol, which is a class of enzymes and elements that are in the vitamin A family. They are added to skincare products, the retinols and vitamin A, but the tretinoin you have to get from a prescription. So you've got to get it from either one-on-one, going to a dermatologist, or online. Now there are ways to get a prescription for you, working with a doctor with telemed. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end. But we need a prescription for that. What does tretinoin do? All right, so tretinoin is a precursor to collagen. And we all know collagen is so necessary for cartilage and all soft tissue in our body, skin being one of them. The collagen matrix makes up the skin matrix. And so the more, we can enhance that collagen with the firmer and the less fine lines and the more elasticity for our skin. So having a skin cream with tretinoin in it is a game changer for a lot of people. When you have tried all the programs and done all the right things, and yet you still can't lose the weight that you're trying to lose, and you're a male or female over 50, now is the time for you to look into my program, Your Second 50.life. It includes online video support. You can download video and PDFs for an eating plan and exercise plan appropriate for over 50. It includes group support on a monthly basis, and perhaps even more importantly, it includes weekly individualized coaching specific to you. Having the generalized plan is a good thing. I have helped literally thousands of people to lose weight over the 43 years I've been in practice, and I'd like to help you too. Second ingredient that's getting a lot of press now and a lot of science and exploration for, showing that it does have evidence-based positive responses is estrogen. So bioidentical and topically applied. So I'm not talking about like an estrogen, hormonal replacement. That's a separate podcast. I'm talking about putting that estrogen, estradiol, a bio-identical form in skin creams now. You can get these. And, if you're a younger woman, you don't really need estrogen because you have it naturally being produced. So the estrogen added to skincare is really being targeted to us postmenopausal females and older males because that can help. What estrogen does is it firms up and plumps and keeps the hydration in. It helps with, reversing or slowing down the thinning and the crepiness of the skin. And so bioidentical estrogen in a skincare cream, again, prescription only, is something that you probably want to make yourself aware of and look into maybe experimenting with, either through talking to your dermatologist or getting an online dermatologist and having this, exploring what might be best for you. All right, so there's 2 ingredients. Now the third one that's really getting some interesting, attention right now is rapamycin. All right, rapamycin, and I'm talking about it only in, micro doses in a skincare cream. I am not talking about trying to take it as a, black market supplement like Brian Johnson, who's the, one of the leading influencers with longevity, or some of the, the science researchers that are taking this on the sly themselves because of what they're doing with their experiments in their labs in Harvard and Stanford. I am not talking about that. I am talking about the evidence that's showing up that when they add rapamycin into skincare products and it is being dosed for you through a clinician, what it's being shown to do is it inhibits mTOR, which is a cellular aging mechanism that goes on in our bodies. You probably have been hearing about this when it comes to the microbiome in our gut. But again, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the application in skincare creams right now. So what it does is it helps to remove what are called sentient cells or zombie cells, because our skin will age partly because we're not able to clear the aging skin as quickly and as rapidly as when we were younger. And so you're getting a buildup of dead skin that is not clearing. And so what the rapamycin in small little microdoses in skincare is helping to do is help to, speed up the clearing out of this dead skin, which then helps more youthful, firmer, more elastic. It leaves the room now for the other two products, the tretinoins and the estrogen, to do their job of helping rejuvenate the skin. All right, there's a turnover of everything in our body, and skin is one of them. So the rapamycin helps to clear out the old dead stuff, and the tretinoin and the estrogen helps to bring in the skin rejuvenation. And that is why, using all three in some sort of a rotation is what I would recommend you look into if you're a postmenopausal female. So let's go over age categories. So if you're 20 to 30, maybe even 40, early 40s, and you still have your menstrual cycle, you do not need the estrogen in a cream. And you might not want to look into the rapamycin just yet, but you will want to look into creams that have tretinoin. That is going to be part of your investing in your postmenopausal years and just keeping really good cellular turnover in your skin leading up to that. If you are now a peri through postmenopausal female, the tretinoin is very important to have in your creams as well, but now we want to layer in some estradiol, a bioidentical, topically applied, and then the rapamycin kind of alternated with that. So one of the protocols that's being suggested is a rapamycin in the morning and then a tretinoin in the evening, alternating days with an estrogen cream. And so bringing all three in, but not bombarding your skin with all three at once, because dosage is also important here with these skin creams, which is why, you have to get these through, prescription. So you have to work with a clinician that's licensed. But secondly, you want to find someone to do that with, either online or in person. All right. But I will tell you, because again, going back, I've never been one that has done a lot with my skincare regime, through my youth. But now that I'm getting older, I am being more, judicious about it. And I am using all three of those at 62 years old, and my lifestyle hacks as well, of course. And the reason why I'm putting this video together is because I have noticed some significant youthful, balancing to my aging process and my loss of fluids from my trainings and my lack of getting, enough sleep. While I'm working on those things, the skincare rotation that I have is I can notice actual observable evidence that it is improving my skin, particularly on my face, particularly on this lower half from the nose down, all right, with this, hanging stuff and this deep fine lines, the marionette lines and all that. So I hope you've taken some good information from this. My agenda with this is not to be the expert on, prescribing this to you, but, I am a lifestyle as medicine practitioner. And so I see my role supplying information that has evidence-based science behind it, putting it in, refining it down into simple information that you are now armed with to go out and to apply to your life with the help of practitioners and being informed to make your own decisions as you're purchasing, buying, and establishing lifestyle habit patterns. All right, everybody, stay glowing, and I'd love to work with you. There's links below about my online subscription community, and I work with people in groups in that, and then also highly individualize it, which is the differentiating factor between my program and other programs that are out right now. So thanks for joining. Again, stay glowing skin, and I will see you hopefully on another video soon.
And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judyterrell.com.